Hello, this is the Reading on the Rocks podcast. We are Kelsey,
Chandler,
and Morgan. We like to drink and read books and then talk about them. Welcome to the group chat. Hi, welcome to Reading on the Rocks podcast. This is episode 5, guys, and we are still talking about The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy by Megan Bannen. So last week we talked about the first 20 chapters, and all of us were pretty much loving it, thankfully, because I've read it before and I forced them into this. This week we're talking about chapters 21 through the end of this book. But first and foremost, what are we drinking? I am drinking a white rum, yet again, with Sprite.
I'm just keeping it classic tonight. I got a mimosa.
Yum. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Also keeping it pretty straightforward. This is a passion fruit seltzer.
Yum.
So yummy.
Yeah.
So here we go.
All right. A little recap about what we read. In the last episode, we were reading about Mercy and Hart. They're both fairly lonely people. I feel like that's an accurate assumption of that.
That's kind of the consensus.
And they start writing each other letters back and forth. It's anonymous. They don't know that they're writing each other letters, but they know each other in real life, and they hate each other. With a passion.
When we left off, was Hart? I can't remember. Had Hart realized
saved her
it
life?
yet?
No,
Yes.
Hart saved her life, and he just realized it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He saved her life from the drudge in the street, and he just realized it, and we ended with him thinking he was in love with Mercy.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God,
right
last
before
Mercy moment.
Yes, it was right before the dance. So this first chapter that we start talking about today is the dance chapter.
Guys, dance.
The dance.
The dance.
You called it, Morgan.
I called
Cute.
it. Chandler said last episode that it's just like a kick your feet and just kind of giggle kind of book. I kicked my feet the whole time.
Yes.
While they were dancing. That was so cute.
So cute.
It was adorable.
I love it so much.
I also have to say, I devoured the second half of this book.
Within the next 2 days, it was done for me too.
I think it was like 3 or 4 hours for me. I think I stayed up till 2 in the morning finishing it.
Can't stop, won't stop.
No.
Exactly. But the dance, that was so cute.
So then, I have to say,
I love when he takes her, or she takes him home, and they have cake together. Adorable.
Yes. I love the fact that she literally ran after him. She was like, no, I am going to run after him, because she was like so into. I was like, yes.
Well, her ex-boyfriend tried to come up and ruin everything.
Yes. And
she was like,
he was mean.
No boy. Nobody.
And he was like, oh, are you going to make a fool of yourself and run after him? And she was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
For
Get
sure.
it.
Say less.
Exactly. I
begins the tale.
Yes. I also love the fact that, so it starts out with Mercy's family kind of like attacking Hart at the dance because they were so grateful for him saving Mercy. And it was like Zeddy. I mean, I'm still whatever about Zeddy, but he literally like launched himself at Hart and gave him a giant hug. And I just thought it was so cute. This whole part of it.
Adorable. And then they have their cake moment.
Mm-hmm.
They have a couple other moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Things get a little spicy. There's a chili pepper rating for sure. And they start dating, and it's just this cute romance. I will say I was annoyed with Hart.
For not fessing up about the letters?
Yes, for a
Yes.
good portion of this half.
I feel it
I
would
was
have
like,
all been avoided if he'd have just fessed up when it all happened, because she was already
exactly.
infatuated with him.
Yes.
So what's the difference if he's like, hey, by the way, I'm also this little writer that you kind of are in love with? Yeah.
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 But he kept it away from her. And
he kept it a secret, and then it kind of just blew up in his face.
Yeah.
And then oh gosh. This book destroyed me and then put me back together. And I don't even think it was within 100 pages. I think it was within 50.
It was immaculate. It's so,
yes.
I love it. I love this book so much. We should probably recap
talk about
a little
how
more.
It destroys it. How does it destroy us?
So there's a little more to this story. That's what I kind of love about this story, because it's so lighthearted and it is a cozy fantasy. But at the end of this book, they both individually have like giant tasks that they do and they accomplish. And I love the fact that Mercy does this and she doesn't have Hart running in and saving the day or anything like that. So, I mean, they date and then she finds out that he doesn't, or he wrote the letters and then they split up, and then he goes and opens the door in Tanria.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the door and that whole situation, because he does open up to Mercy about everything that happened with him joining the marshals and like Bill and that whole situation, which was a super intense moment, I felt like.
Yeah. And his ability to see
the souls
also, which he had not told anyone because of what took place with Bill.
So that happened, and then on the Mercy side, she had her own thing, which I didn't really whole little subplot here of undertaking fraud happening.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. That's secondary. That's secondary to the love story. I completely forgot about that.
So yeah, another subplot that was happening here was this other undertaker was trying to buy out Mercy's family's undertaking business.
And I feel like we talked about that. And Mercy finally opened up to her family and said, I'm happy being an undertaker. I want to be an undertaker.
Yes. And then
they were like, how do we keep it?
Yeah, exactly. And then we find out, so this other undertaker got like a monopoly on like the wood business or whatever in the area, so they couldn't make the boats, which is what people are buried in. So they thought that this other guy was doing something shady, and they discovered that he was taking in bodies and basically repairing their appendixes and then illegally dropping them back in Tanria so that they could be reanimated by the drudges, and then they could come back in as keyless bodies, and then they would get money from the government or whatever for processing keyless bodies. So they were trying to get a monopoly on all of these keyless bodies, and they were upping the numbers themselves.
Which would explain the increase in
drudges.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And Mercy figured it out. Her with her pregnant sister.
and her ex-boyfriend.
And her ex. I can't forget about Nathan.
There was a small redemption arc for the ex-boyfriend after he was like, you're going to make a fool out of yourself? And then he helped arrest the guy, and small redemption arc.
I mean, small. By the way, he's like a sheriff. That's why they involved him. But it wasn't random. But yes, I love the fact that they kind of both branched out of their
comfort zones.
Yeah, and they did something individually, and it wasn't like, a damsel in distress situation or anything like that with the story.
Yeah. They didn't save each other's days.
Yeah, exactly. They saved themselves, and it was perfect.
Because we're strong, independent people.
Ooh, preach.
Yes.
Let's go into... Oh, go ahead, Chan.
I was about to say, are we talking about the house a little bit more?
Yeah, I was going to say this. Let's go back to the house, because there's a little bit of story here.
Oh, yes.
So we left off knowing that Hart saw a house that was his childhood home with no real a rhyme or reason as to why it's there or why he's the only one that sees it or anything like that. But we found out that it is actually, what did we call it? What's that god's name?
I don't know. Jeff.
Warden.
Jeff. Well, we call him Jeff. But
We
the
call it-
warden. Yes, the warden.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
the warden.
the warden.
So the warden takes in souls, essentially, and the idea is once you die, your soul goes through the doorway, and that's actually Hart's doorway. And so, did we go over? We didn't talk about how Bill died either.
No, we didn't.
We find that out as
but
well.
at that, yeah, we
Yes.
found out how he died.
So basically, Bill was Hart told him what he saw, and Bill basically tried to get to the house, and he died by all the drudges, because there's drudges surrounding this house because they can't get through the door.
He tried to get Hart to the door so Hart could open it, because Bill thought Hart would be the only one who could potentially open it.
Right.
Yeah.
To help these souls through the door.
To get the drudges through.
Yeah.
Or the souls.
And Bill was essentially overcome by
The
critters
drudges.
and
Yeah.
was killed.
So,
and so that's
Hart-
kind of Hart's
yeah.
baggage throughout the whole story, is his inability to share that with anyone because he feels like anyone he tells is going to be harmed or hurt.
Or
So,
yeah, and he feels probably responsible.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
But he tells Mercy, and Mercy's like, that was a choice.
Yeah. That's kind of when it all went south, was when he confessed that to Mercy, and she's like, he expected you to do that? Like, you were a baby,
Yeah.
you were a kid.
Yeah, he was like
And
a
I get it.
teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other part of Hart's baggage, though, is he doesn't know. He knows that he's a demigod. He knows that his father is a god, but demigods are either immortal or they are mortal. And he doesn't know whether or not he's immortal or not. And that's also part of his baggage throughout the book. Is he's like, I have to die to figure this out. I don't really want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Hart and Mercy break up. It blows up in his face that he doesn't tell Mercy he was her pen pal.
In the heat of the argument,
how she found out.
Yeah, in the heat of the argument between him and Mercy regarding Bill, and her pretty much calling Bill out for not taking care of him and putting him in this position, he is like grabbing his bag real fast or something, and all of her letters spill out on the floor. And she puts it all together.
Yes.
And she pretty much is like, that's it, get out.
Yeah.
And
I love that she runs downstairs because she's trying to find something else with his handwriting.
Yeah.
Because of the bodies he drops off. So she's trying to find something with his handwriting so she can totally be 100% positive, because it's she doesn't want to accept it, and she just runs out and tries to find something with his handwriting. That's another point that they argued about, because Hart told her basically that he couldn't write her while they were together. She asked him to write her letters, and he was like, I can't write letters in Tanria. And then Penn makes a statement saying something about the letters he wrote, and Mercy was like, you can write letters in there? That was a big argument too, and then she finally put it together when she saw the letters. But yeah, could have been avoided their Hart. But
so, and some intense stuff happens after they break up, though.
Yeah, that's when it
that's
when it's crazy.
It's real.
Yes.
So Mercy goes on her own subplot, rescuing her family's undertaking business after their breakup, and Hart kind of just floats around life for a little bit until him and Duckers are attacked by 5 or 6 drudges all at once.
Yeah, they were tracked by I forgot what he calls them, but a group of them. There was a lot of them, and they barely escaped.
Yeah, and so Hart was barely recovered at his chief's house, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna open the door. I've got nothing to lose. I'm doing
But
it.
he tells no one this.
Yes.
Conveniently.
No
Nope.
one.
It's a
He
solo
leaves
mission.
in the middle of the night.
Puts his hand on his chief's door as a thank you. And pieces out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sneaks his way into Tanria and does it all by his lonesome.
He took the horse, though. What was the horse's name?
Oh,
Salt liquor?
Salt liquor, yeah.
Yeah.
He took salt liquor with him, though. So
he did take salt liquor.
And he, like,
and then
armed
set
up.
him free. Yeah.
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 But yeah, he makes
goes,
he goes in there and he makes it all the way to the door and ends up dying.
He opens the door.
Yes.
He does successfully get the open door.
He opens the door, and as he's watching all the souls come through the door, he dies at the entrance of the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he has a
heartbreaking. My heart broke at this book, and I was
this close to chucking my Kindle. The only thing that saved me from chucking my Kindle was I was still sleeping in the same room as my son. And I knew if I chucked it across the room, it could A, land in his crib, or B, wake him up. I like literally was this close to chucking it. But I was because like
I kept thinking, I'm like, there's no way it has such good reviews if he dies. There's no way this is the end of it. There's no way he dies this way.
You guys were both about to text me so mad.
Yeah, I was. And we have this like code in the group chat where we can't discuss what's happening throughout the book if it's a podcast book. Yeah. And I'm like I had like my phone in my hand. I'm like, I don't know what to do. How do I process these emotions? I don't know. But it gets so much worse from there. It's not even that he dies. It's what takes place afterwards.
Yes.
So let's talk about what happens afterwards. He has this pretty intense, we'll talk about what happens to Hart immediately afterwards. Because, Mercy's still in her bed. Mercy has no idea what's happening right now. She had no idea that all the souls and all the judges are going away. And Hart's dying.
Gone.
Yeah.
Straight gone.
But he goes into kind of like a dream-like state where he's a child again, and he's running through his house, and he says hey to his mom, and he says hey to his grandpa. Yeah, and I can't remember exactly how his father presents himself.
Originally, he just shows up and he's got the face of Bill.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And he says Bill isn't ready to face him yet. And I thought, so heartbreaking. He was like, Bill is the one person he wants to see. And he's like, Bill isn't ready to face you yet.
Yeah.
But I am. And he's like, I don't want to see you, my dad.
Yeah. Hart was very against seeing his dad, who he calls Jeff. He says, call me Jeff if you can't call me dad. But we find out the story behind, we find out a lot right now. We found out the story behind Hart's dad, which is that 36 years ago, he left his position as the warden and he decided to basically play it human for a little while because he didn't get what it was all about. And at first he hated it because, he was sick and tired and hungry and all of this stuff. And then he met Hart's mom and he fell in love. And then something bad happened, though. All of these souls got trapped at the door because he wasn't there to open them. He left someone else in charge. I forget who it was. Someone stupid.
And they were very forgetful.
Yes. He left someone else in charge. They forgot. And all of these souls got trapped. And that's how drudges happened. All of these souls got trapped on this side, and they want to seek basically a warm body or any sort of body that they can, feel alive again. And so his dad had to return to being a warden, and he didn't want to because he was in love with Hart's mom. So that's how that all happened. And then we find out from Jeff that Hart is not immortal. but he does get 2 lives, one from his mom and one from his dad. So he's dead at the moment, but we know he's coming back. In the meantime, though, Mercy does not know this.
Mercy doesn't know this, and Mercy's sister is in labor.
Yes.
First of all, can we talk about the character development for Mercy's sister?
I love her.
I love her development. She became one of my favorite secondary characters. Love her.
She was
but
yes.
She like goes into labor, and the police are knocking on their door like, Undertakers, get to your place because we've got bodies dropping and we don't know why. Like all these keyless bodies, the souls that Hart released, are dropping and they have no idea why. And so she's like, I gotta go to work. Good luck, sis. So she's working, and her Duckers comes in. Duckers, Hart's partner, and his chief come in, and they're like, have you seen Hart? Do you know where Hart is? She's like, no. I've been here working, and shit gets real.
Yeah.
Very ominous glass tinking.
Yeah, because none of us want to talk about it. Shit does get real.
Morgan, so why don't you say what happens?
What do I say what happens?
Why don't you say what happens?
Oh, why don't
tell
I
the
say
listeners.
Oh my god, listeners. It got interesting. So she
couldn't
says,
do it because I was like, I'm gonna cry.
I can't if we fucking cry on this right now. This is not good, guys.
This is not good.
She says you need to go check. I can't remember what they call it, like 53 or something. The area.
Yes. Yeah. Sector or something where the house was.
Right, and so they go, and they find him, and he's dead. And so he had his key instructed his whoever to take him to Mercy. And so he
because he recently bought a funeral package there.
Yes, he brought a funeral package with his girlfriend. How kind. But Duckers and his chief take his body there, and Mercy has to look his dead body in the face and essentially process him, and
well, and that's like on her own determination though, because her whole family was like, we will take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Her dad was there.
Yeah, and so was her brother.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'll do it. We'll take care of it. And she's like, no, I have to do this.
Yes.
It was like that moment where you're like, I have to take care of this. I have to see it through. Or she's not going to believe it.
Yank my heart out. It was so terrible.
I started to cry. I don't know about you guys.
So,
I started to cry.
Do you know the exact spot that you started to cry? Because I can tell you mine.
Oh, when I started to cry? I think it was when she pulled the sheet off of his face and she saw all the wounds. That's when I'm like,
God. So I don't know if it was different when I read the first time, but this third time reading it, the moment I started to cry is when the dog started whining and panting.
Oh, yes.
Because he knew that Hart was gone, and then he goes in and sees his body, and he just gets so dejected when Hart isn't like petting him back. Literally,
he like goes and paws on his dead hand.
Yeah,
he wants pets. He's like,
more further evidence that we don't deserve dogs.
No, we don't. Even fake ones, even fictional dogs.
Fictional dogs, we don't deserve.
Was his name Leroy? Leonard?
Leonard
has my whole heart. An ugly little boxer mix.
We have to
love it so much. Yeah, literally, he's like pawing and whining, and I'm just like bawling.
Oh my god, I can't. It's hard for me to even talk about this.
So bad.
But yeah, I don't even want to say it. You guys take it over. I can't.
Kelsey, you're up.
This book destroyed me.
It is definitely, oh man, it's hard. But so Mercy is processing him. Like after working all night long with all of these keyless bodies, she's processing him. And then I forget how they so his chief, Alma and Penn, come back and they're going to go say goodbye. And they go back into the back to say goodbye to Hart. And then something crazy happens, like his wounds start knitting up, or they're like, Mercy, you did such a great job with him. He looks great, or something like that. And she's like, what? I haven't even started. Yeah. And so they see that they see that his wounds are like closing and closed. And she's like, oh shit. And then they just like stand there and he starts breathing. So then they're like, oh my God, he's coming back to life. Which
Can we talk about Ducker's reaction to this?
Yeah.
Because I did laugh at Ducker's reaction because it was so wholesome and adorable. He was like, he lives!
Yes, exactly.
Ducker's so fun. I love Ducker.
Ducker's is so
like, Ducker's reaction was
so
just
much.
so wholesome and amazing. And like, he lives! And he's just having like this little touchdown dance over the corner and everybody's like,
he's so funny. I love him. So yeah, because Mercy doesn't want him to wake up. So Mercy thinks obviously that he is immortal then, because she doesn't know the whole story yet. So they take him upstairs so that he doesn't wake up on the table, and they don't have any clothes for him. So then he has to wear, some weird boxers.
It had like hot dogs on it or something.
Hot dog boxers from her brother.
Boxers. Yeah.
So they were too small. And so he finally wakes up, and all he can think about is the fact that he's not supposed to be in Mercy's house. He's not supposed to be in her apartment or something like that. So he's like getting up like frantic, trying to leave.
He's like, I'm so sorry, I'm here.
I can't see her. I can't see her. And then they go and get Mercy because she was still working with all the keyless bodies. So then things come to the head and things are fine. And I love their like reunion is so funny to me. Because I forget what it is. See, I'm going to pull up one of my things. She doesn't want to hear, like that he's sorry or he doesn't deserve her. She's like, I just want to hear you love me. And he was like, well, of course I love you. What was that up for debate?
Like, why are we talking about this?
Why are we talking about this? I didn't know we were, that was it. So basically, yeah, they end up back together. And then the epilogue is basically them, Hart has taken over as like the sheriff in Bushong or whatever it's called, where they live, and they live happily ever after. Hopefully,
alive,
so
both
cute.
of them,
alive
both and not dead.
But yeah, it is a roller coaster of a ride for being like a cozy fantasy. It's definitely like lighthearted, but also this book is going to make you bawl your eyes out.
I have to say,
I don't think I've cried like that since Kingdom of Ash.
Yeah,
that was I ugly cried for about 20 minutes.
Yes,
and then I'm like, everything's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not Kingdom of Ash. That was very high praise. Kingdom of Ash put me through some shit.
Yeah, that was like whole book.
Yes, of course I put you through.
It was like one scene of Kingdom of Ash.
Oh,
I cried through like all of Kingdom of Ash.
I know. Well, I just mean like the equivalent of tears for Hart and Mercy was of one scene of Kingdom of Ash.
Perfect.
But still, my favorite, before we get into quotes, my favorite thing about this book was Morgan's reaction to it afterwards, because she texted us and she goes, I don't know what to read now. And I
said, I don't know what to do with my hands. What do
I go, just read this, because there's a second book. It's about two different characters, also standalone.
Yeah.
Twilight and Frank. And I go, read Twilight and Frank's. And she goes, no, I need more Hart and Mercy. I need more of them specifically.
Yes.
But I don't even think, it would, I think she did us right by only making it one story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if there were another Mercy and Hart book, it would have been like, oh, it's another.
No, we need an extended epilogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Megan Bannen, we need an extended epilogue.
Yeah.
You hear this?
I do think the epilogue was lacking just a little bit. I just want a little more in the epilogue.
I did also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we get into stuff, I have a couple scenes that I want to talk about because they were just like so perfect. One, what I want quite a lot is like a book about Lillian and Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love them.
Danny's so fun.
He's so fun. I think it's so cute. I literally laughed out loud when he was like, "Don't fake a contraction to get away from this." Because obviously he's super mad that she went out on this stakeout to arrest some criminals, and she did so by throwing her inflatable donut at someone's head. So she was in the middle of this, and he was obviously not happy with that. So apparently the relationship is one where she would have faked a contraction. Turns out she was actually in labor, but he was like, "Don't fake a contraction to get out of this." I thought it was so funny. It was so funny. But there's another scene in here so this is like the exact banter / vibes that I like. And that's like when they're when Hart and Mercy are dancing, and they're talking about each other, and Mercy's like, "I didn't think you were one to dance," or something like that, and he's just being like grumpy, like straight face, and she's just like joking, and she was like, "Oh, was that a joke? Did I see a smile on your face?" And he was like, "Nope." Just like that interaction that they had while dancing, when they were she was just teasing him and he was just like pretending to be a grump. That is like the exact vibes I love. Love so much. Oh, could watch it every day, all day. But
their back and forth is iconic. It's perfect.
It is
amazing. Chef's kiss.
It has like the perfect amount of emotion and humor.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, like just freaking silliness. But it just blends so perfectly together. And I'm not even like a cozy reader. Like I usually like the more intense emotional stuff, and this was just like ate it up, every part of it.
It was good. My quote, I think it's just something I related to, like, how often do we ever like say this out loud? I definitely have a couple times in the past, but she goes, Mercy, right after they've eaten the cake, Hart's about to leave her apartment, and she just goes, "I think I'm about to do something stupid," and kisses him.
I love it.
And I love that she just goes, and like, I love that Hart's reaction was, "Okay, do something stupid." Like,
or I think he said, "I'm still waiting for you to do something stupid."
Yeah, she said okay like, first. And then she kisses him, and then he goes, "I'm still waiting for you to do something stupid."
Literally, love it. I highlighted both of those parts.
Yeah.
It was so, like, it doesn't even, like, it doesn't have to be the spiciest, most, crazy stuff. Like, that kind of little stuff is just so fun.
Yes. Yeah. Literally.
I just love it. I'd much rather read something like that.
Yes, that stuff where it's like way more subtle is like the kind of stuff that you're, kicking your feet and giggling and stuff like that. When it's just spice, I'm like, I'm just here reading spice.
Yeah.
Probably skimming.
Like, we've seen this before.
I don't need to see all of the down and dirty all the stuff that's happening here. Yeah, the nitty gritty. But that kind of banter and like teasing and all of that, that's the stuff that I live for. That's what you kick your feet to. It's so perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Morgan, what was your quote?
I actually have a whole paragraph because that's just how fun it was. But mine was actually, I don't think we talked about it. So after the breakup, Hart writes a final letter to Mercy.
Yes.
And he puts it in his pocket and he's not going to send it. He just needed to write it down, essentially. And so when his body is on the table laid out in front of her, it falls out of his pocket and she's reading this letter, and that's where it came from. So this is part of the letter, and it just says, if I were brave, I'd send this letter to you. If I were braver, I'd destroy it, but I'm not brave, and I never was, not like you, so I'll keep it tucked beside my heart, unsent and unread until the day I die. If I die. And who knows, maybe then it will make its way to you somehow. My words too late, as always, and never worthy of you to begin with. Oh,
Love him.
love him.
Love him
So
so
obsessed
much.
with Hart.
So obsessed with him so
But
much.
yeah, and then it's just like, that was just heartbreaking to read when his dead body's in front of her. And never worthy of you to begin with. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But little segue into that was it fell out of his pocket, and then the Nimcolims show up again to deliver the letter. So both of them, the owl Horatio and the rabbit, whose name I still don't remember, Bessarius or something like that. Yeah. So they're sitting there fighting over the letter.
And who gets to deliver it?
Who gets to deliver it, because the rabbit is supposed to deliver whatever mail is left off of the dead body. All of Hart's mail.
But Horario is supposed to deliver mail from that facility or something along those lines.
But Bessarius, or whatever his name is, he looks at the letter. He doesn't even realize that Hart is on the table until it's Hart that's on the table, until he looks at the letter and he's like, no, not you, damn it. And he gets so mad and sad. It was so sad. So sad.
A fresh wave of tears.
Yep. Poor little guy. So they were fighting over it. It was so cute. And then they end up becoming the deliverers of I think bodies for undertakers, for Mercy's undertaking business. Instead of delivering mail, they're now using their powers to work for Mercy and Hart.
They're little buddies.
I thought that was so cute.
Don't they get together? Aren't they little lovers?
I don't know.
No, I think she's like, you love me, or one of the rabbit is like, you love me to or no, the owl says that, Horatio says that to Bessarius, and he's like, in very Bessarius ways. No. No, I
don't. They were so fun. There are so many super wonderful secondary characters in this book. Like, I love them almost as much as I love Hart and
Love to see little novellas from some of these secondary characters.
Sure. That was another one that I have to bring up, because we loved Duckers in the first part of this. So we have to circle back to Duckers again. He was so cute with when Hart was alive. But they went let's see, when Duckers had to go back to the station, he was with Zeddy, and they were like back and forth arguing and like, be safe and all this stuff. And Penn Duckers is his name. He's like, no, I gotta go. And then this is when they say, I love you to each other. And they're like, I love you. And then Penn is like, that would have been a really great exit, but I need a ride.
But we have to go the same way. Fun.
You need to take me, so that would have been really good, but we have to go.
I get a ride to work.
Yeah.
It was so
We're going the same direction.
Yeah. This is another moment I laughed out loud. I was like, oh, Duckers, he's so great.
Love him.
Oh my goodness.
I think all that's left to do is we're finished with this book, so let's talk ratings.
Let's do it.
Personally, I'm going a 4 out of 4.5 stars. Only thing I would have liked to see is just a little bit more of the magic aspect. Like, I would have loved a little bit more background on the demigod at magic aspect of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, 4.5. The character development, amazing. Everything was just there for me. Morgan?
I don't hand out 5 stars very often. I'm pretty stingy with my 5-star ratings. This took 5 stars for me.
Yes.
I loved this book. And even, like, there were a couple of things where I just felt like maybe it could have gone better. Like, I agree with you that I feel like there's a whole nother side of things that we maybe could have seen regarding the magic system, or like the gods, essentially.
Yeah.
That would have been a kind of a fun read. But I laughed, I cried, I kicked my feet, I giggled. And just like the whole spectrum of emotions, I feel like to do it anything less than 5 stars for me would be a complete disservice to the book. So that's where I'm going. I'm going 5. for it.
Nice. So Chandler tells me that I have to give both my ratings. The first time
just about to explain that.
Yes. So I'm gonna say the first time that I read this book, I looked it up. I rated it 4.5. Morgan, I'm the same as Morgan. I am very stingy with my 5 stars. Like, my 5 stars are Pride and Prejudice, obviously. And then like books that have literally changed my life, like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, like God tier books that literally changed my life. So I'm also stingy with 5 stars. But I will say this book, literally, I still think about, having read it like 2 years ago, I still think about it. And third time reading it, I still love it so much. So I am also going to up my rating to 5 stars. Life-changing. Yeah. So exciting.
It was so fun.
And I'm great. So glad that you guys love this book as much as I did.
Oh, I loved it.
So perfect.
It was so perfect. Is there anything else we want to talk about regarding Hart and Mercy?
I don't think so. I think that closed us out.
The consensus is it was wonderful and everyone should read it always. So
yes.
I know I've recommended it to like 13 people since we
Just get everybody in this.
Yeah. Everyone needs to read this book.
Just hand it out to strangers.
Copies on the streets. You get one. Look under your seats.
You get a book. You get a book. You get a book.
Perfect.
Yes. Well, I think that's all we have for Hart and Mercy, folks. As always, book recommendations, drink recommendations are welcome. Follow us on all of our socials, and we will see you next time. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
If you liked our ramblings, please tune in next week and follow us on social media.
Book recs and drink recs are always welcome. Until next time.